Hello, this is an impromptu midweek Wednesday video because I am finding myself really very triggered by what is happening at the Tory Party conference this week, so much so that I felt that I had to just say my piece on it. So of all the Tory Party conferences that I have witnessed and seen from a distance over the years, I feel like this particular one this year is the worst in the real disgusting, vile language and rhetoric being used. I find it absolutely abhorrent. The things that Suella Braverman is saying, the things that Lee Anderson is saying, things that Rishi Sunak is saying, the speeches coming out from the conference, the lies as well, the outright barefaced untruths. I just can't stand, and it's almost like they're in a state of desperation because they know that they're probably going to lose the next election. So at this point they're just saying whatever they like in the hope that people will fall for it. It doesn't matter if it's not true, if it's not steeped in fact. Doesn't matter. Like, I would just say whatever I need to say in order to create wedge issues and try and garner votes from gullible people. And I feel like that's all that is. So some examples I can give you. The most obvious three coming out of this conference being the 15-minute city conspiracy theory that was being pushed by some people. The one where it's been pushed that Labour are wanting to introduce a policy, a tax on red meat, not a thing, and 7 bins, which Rishi Sunak recently announced that he was going to scrap, that we no longer needed to have 7 bins in our house. I mean, put aside the fact that that isn't a thing, who can even fit 7 bins in their house? These Tory ministers in every interview are just saying things that are just incorrect. So let's start with the 15-minute city myth. So I've got a BBC article open up about this. I'm just so... it makes me cross because I just want it to be called out, and I'm going to call it out. So conspiracy theories linking 15-minute cities to sinister ploys to control people. This is the Transport Secretary who's said this. He was calling time on the misuse of so-called 15-minute cities. And where this has come from originally. So he's basically extrapolating this information and saying that, oh, this is what councils want to do. This is what councils are trying to force people to do. Absolutely not. Like, nobody is forcing anyone to do this because, like, it sounds crazy. It was originally an urban planning concept whereby councils want to provide towns and cities where people are easily able to get to the shops quickly, preferably within 15 minutes, which, you know, you'd think, oh, that's lovely. That's a very accessible, you know, idea where, you know, that would be, in an ideal world, that would be great, wouldn't it? But it's not accurate to say that, oh, this is actually what councils are forcing people to do. Like, oh, you have to have a 15-minute window and you've got allocated slots in order to get to the shops. So they don't give councils special powers to restrict people's freedom of movement. Mr. Mark Harper, the Transport Secretary, was asked to clarify comments about this, which echo conspiracy theories linked to similar plots about these 15-minute cities. But it's just ridiculous. They take that sort of information, which are like proposals and suggestions from councils and like urban planning, etc. And then they take that and it's like, oh, they want to force people to go to the shops in 15 minutes. They're restricting people's freedom. No, Like, do not say that. That is an outright lie, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous to say that, because then you scare people into thinking that's actually going to happen, and it's not. It's not a thing. 15-minute cities are not a thing. Okay? So let's park that. You know, I've made that point. Let's move on to the red meat thing, the red meat tax. All of this is red meat, by the way, ironically. Apparently, Labour want to introduce a tax on buying red meat, which has never been suggested by the Labour Party. Perhaps it's been in some proposals somewhere, in some paperwork, but it's not been announced as legislation. Yes, you could argue that it's what some eco-campaigners want, like Extinction Rebellion. It might be quite nice to add a tax on to buying red meat, because it would mean it would reduce consumption somewhat, which would mean that we eat less of it, and therefore we don't require it as much, and we don't, you know, have the necessity to, you know, keep on rearing livestock, which is bad for the environment, etc. But it's not official, like, Labour Party policy or part of any sort of official manifesto that that's what they want to do. It's not been announced, but, you know, Tories just want to say that to scare people and be like, oh, let Labour, socialism,
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Oh, they want to introduce taxes and stop you from buying things that you want. Oh my God, shut up. Next thing, it's the 7 bins scenario. This is quite literally rubbish, forgive the pun, but this was originally a plan that was outlined by DEFRA, that was part of a plan called Simpler Recycling, that suggested that we may try and improve our ways of recycling waste, not, you know, introducing 7 different types of bins. And a spokesman for the waste industry said, reforms to recycling collections aren't about bins. They are about simplifying recycling so that wherever you live in the UK, you can recycle the same core set of materials in a way that is appropriate for your local area. Most UK households already recycle. It's about helping them to recycle more and better. In that sense, it's one of the more straightforward changes needed on our net zero journey. So again, that's been extrapolated into something that it absolutely isn't, which Rishi Sunak has said, oh, we're going to scrap this whole 7 bins nonsense. It's not about having 7 bins. Who even has 7 bins? What a ridiculous statement to make. And this was all part of his reduction in net zero approaches. Climate change is happening now, and it's happening imminently. Like floods, forest fires, you know, everything like that. It will get worse, happening all the time, and we're just reducing our ability to try and tackle that by all of this guff. Not only are there outright lies being told, but it's also like conferences at the moment is like a celebration of hate. It's like hate speech week at Tory Party conference. It's disgusting. I find it disgusting, and I just think that it needs to be challenged and it needs to be called out as it is happening. Call out the lies and call out the hate speech, because that's what it is. Transphobia is a form of hate speech. Xenophobia and anti-immigrant rhetoric is a form of hate speech. And this is all being trotted out by the likes of Suella Braverman, who seems to be the Tory conference darling at the moment, which is quite worrying. And, you know, she's being applauded. She's getting standing ovations. It's dangerous. And when people say things that are wrong, when people say things that are lies, that are mistruths, that are deliberately misleading, they need to be held to account at the time by somebody who is competent and able to strongly challenge them. And I just don't feel like we're getting enough of that at the moment. You know, Suella Braverman, you know, said about a hurricane of migrants coming to this country, and spoke in the billions of people who want to come to this country, which is not realistic at all. It's just mind-blowing, like how she can get away with saying this. And she knows what she's doing. It's deliberate scaremongering in order to win votes, and it is disgusting. And that's why I'm making this video, because I just want to call it out, and I want to make sure that everybody knows what it is and can recognise it for what it is, which is racist, hateful, xenophobic, and if not bordering fascism, is fascism. So I'm just saying it for what it is. The Tory Party is now a neo-fascistic party, akin to the National Front. There, said my piece on that. So yeah, that's Tory Party conference, the hate speech celebration this week, which is extremely sad, extremely worrying, and we should all be vigilant to call this crap out, because that's exactly what it is. So yeah, have a good rest of your week, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. As always, don't forget to thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.